Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to the next edition of Monday Night
Live.
Yay. Dr. Ken Berry here with my lovely wife and manager and boss and assistant, Nurse Nisha. We are here for you this evening to answer your questions and to give you some tips and tidbits about things we do, things we found to be easy, found to be affordable. And if you're watching this on the replay, welcome to you too. We're always glad to take this time every Monday night to sit down with you and answer your questions you have about low carb or keto or carnivore or Hashimoto's or anything. Any medical or nutritional thing is fair game on this live.
And we used to just do this on Facebook, but last week we started doing it on YouTube because we got asked to, and It did really well last week, so I guess we're going to keep doing that.
Yeah. Hey, John Kaufman, how's it going, brother? Welcome. If you want to, you can invite your friends and family to join. On Facebook, you just start a watch party and invite everybody to join so we can all go on this journey together. We can all get smarter together and get healthier together.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. First and foremost, where are you watching from? I already see some people telling us where they're at here.
If you're new, let us know if you're new.
There's Noni in Wyoming.
Noni, I like that.
Noni, there's K-Bear from Missouri. Where are you from? What city, what state, what country? Here's Lima, Ohio in the house. Salt Lake City. For a long time, I didn't know what SLC meant.
Really?
For a long time until we went, and I'm like, oh, Salt Lake
Really?
City. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm honest. I just will tell you if I don't know. Here's somebody from Michigan watching on YouTube. Australia, Quebec. Is it Quebec or?
Quebec.
Well,
I don't know.
Americans say Quebec, so
But
I'm pretty sure that means it's
we're
probably
wrong.
Quebec. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Tell us in the comments, which one is it? Here's Alabama. Oh, here's
Puerto Rico.
somebody. Where'd it go?
I
See,
know,
I
it went
lost
by.
Puerto Rico in the house. All right, guys, excellent. So, what do we need to do? Any housekeeping or new
just
business?
Real quick, if you are interested in coming to our online Proper Human Diet Virtual Summit, the deadline to get your ticket is September 1st. You can find all information on phdvirtualsummit.com. It will answer all your questions, who the speakers are, what the dates are, what the times are, the topics, all that good stuff you can find at phd.com. No, phdvirtualsummit.com. The link is in the description and in the show notes, both on YouTube and on Facebook.
Excellent. Toto wanted to say hi to you guys.
Toto hadn't been on in a long time. He needs a haircut. Don't judge me.
He's our rescue dog. It looks like he's just been rescued, but actually he's been with us for several years.
Look, Beckett is clean and his hair looks good, so
Yeah. Later in the broadcast, Beckett's probably going to join us if he's in a good mood. So if you like babies, really cute babies, probably want to stick around
Keto
for that.
baby.
Yeah, he's a keto baby, almost a carnivore baby. Yeah. Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Quebec.
It is Quebec. Okay, all right.
French say
Quebec. Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I'm butchering it either way, I'm sure.
I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme. Right, I know. In a movie one time, and he called it Quebec, and I was like, I wonder if that's how they say it. But it's French. Okay.
Well, we're just rednecks, so forgive it.
Here's Jakarta, Indonesia, in the house.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Okay, so what we're talking about tonight is how to do low carb on a budget, keto on a budget, or carnivore on a budget. All three of these diets can be relatively inexpensive. You can also make them expensive as hell.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, if you want to, you can make them super expensive. But you can do these diets just fine on a budget and still reap many health benefits, including fat loss, weight loss, lowering your blood pressure, lowering your blood sugar, lowering your inflammation, decreasing your pain on a budget. You can do all this on a budget, right?
Yeah.
So if you know any friends or family who have arthritis pain, who have reflux like I used to have, who have man boobs like I used to have, go grab them, text them, email them, tell them to get on here and watch this and ask their questions because we're here to help tonight. Panama City, all right. I love seeing where everybody's from.
I think we should start by saying that I think the main way you can save money is that realizing once you start eating this way that you're saving money on doctor visits,
Yeah.
You're saving money on
You want to look at
prescriptions.
the big picture.
Right. You're saving money on
Yeah.
prescriptions. If that's happened to you, put it in the comments. I know a lot of you guys have this story where you're saving hundreds because you don't have to buy insulin anymore. You don't have to buy blood pressure medication, arthritis medication, all that stuff. That adds up, and then you can reinvest that money into this way of eating. So that's the first way you can save money. It's going to take time. A lot of people may do it fast, and a lot of people may go slower, but eventually it will save you money with healthcare costs, and that's a huge deal.
Absolutely, yeah. And so when you look at the big picture like that, maybe you spend a little more on your food, maybe, but you're saving 3 copays a month. Or you're not going to have that knee replaced anymore, and you get to save the copay on that surgery, which is probably $1,200.
Yeah.
Right? Or you get to call the bariatric surgeon and say, you know what? I'm not going to have that gastric bypass or that VSG, and the copay on that's probably $5,000.
Yeah.
And so when you count all of those, you don't have to buy 2 plane seats anymore, because some people have to do that if they're obese enough. You can actually walk places. So you don't have to drive your car 200 yards up to grandma's house. You can actually just walk because your knees don't hurt anymore. There's all these non-food cost victories,
right,
and cost savings to eating this way. Here's Kay. She's lost 50 pounds. So what is Kay saving, right, by being 50 pounds lighter than she used to be? I don't know. Are like 2X and 3X clothes. I know that at the big and tall store, the big and tall, when I used to have to buy 2X and 3X, the shirts were more expensive. And so that's another way I'm saving money.
Deanna makes a good point. She says you're not hungry all the time and won't eat as much because you become fat adapted. The food that you eat is more satiating. It doesn't cause you to overeat or trigger, as long as you're eating whole foods. Now, there are some keto products that can trigger all that stuff. But
and I like Amy. She said, I'd rather spend money for keto than chemo. And I would rather spend money on good quality food than almost anything else, because what we're really talking about here is better health.
Right.
And if you don't have good health, nothing else matters that much. If you're constantly in pain, you got a constant headache, you're constantly fatigued, you can't really enjoy the things you do have. You can't enjoy your family, can't enjoy your kids. You want to do it?
No, I know.
It's over here, so I thought I would do it,
Yeah.
but you can totally take over.
You're better at it. You do this more than I do.
So here's a good question. Ems says, are there any benefits of carnivore for epilepsy over keto? What you're going to have to do, Ems, is you're going to have to really add the fat to your carnivore, because a carnivore diet winds up being about a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio for most people. That's where most people like it. But definitely you don't want to eat a lean meat carnivore. If what you're trying to do is have a really high ketone level and have basically a therapeutic diet, I think you can do it with carnivore, but you're gonna really focus on adding the fats, both added fats, and you're gonna always pick the fattiest cut of meat, and then you're gonna cook it in fat, and then you're gonna put fat on top of it. And so the way that would look for us is I would buy a big fat, fatty ribeye. I would fry it in bacon grease. And I didn't used to know this. I thought the grill was the only way to cook a steak. But I've gotten to the point where if you put a bunch of bacon grease in a pan and fry that, it makes this crust that's not the black char. It's a different kind of crust, and it's really good. And then I would put butter on top of that. That would be a ketogenic carnivore meal. So I think it can be done, but you have to, on keto or carnivore, you have to really focus on the fat being 85 or 90% of the calories that you take in. Oh, you already got one.
Back to the topic.
Okay, yes.
Pam says that we save tons of money on carnivore because we eat 100% of everything we buy. Nothing spoils or goes in the trash. Exactly. When you buy, how many times have we had veggies that have been in our refrigerator for 2 weeks before we remember that we should cook them, and then they go bad? When you eat a meat-heavy diet, you are more likely to not let food ruin. Therefore, you're not wasting money.
Yep, I totally agree. And full disclosure, today we found a steak in the back of the fridge that had went bad.
But it was because the styrofoam is white, and it had been flipped, so the white side was up against the refrigerator, so it just looked like part of the refrigerator.
Yeah. And so literally on carnivore or ketovore, because Nisha still eats a little veg, and her parents are keto, we literally don't have any food waste at all. it is super rare when we reach in the fridge and never reach in the cabinet and say, oh, that's gone bad, throw that away. Mm-hmm. But we also have dogs and chickens, so there literally is no food waste because that steak's going to get eaten by the chickens. Yeah, chickens they're omnivores. They will eat anything you feed them.
Yeah.
But there's just so much less food waste. How many times when we were paleo would I buy a bunch of broccoli and a bunch of buy 3 or 4 spaghetti squash and sweet potatoes and all this stuff, and then a week later we'd go through the fridge because something didn't smell right, and we'd wind up throwing away $20 worth of veggies. That happens so many times. It never happens on keto or carnivore.
But shopping wise, let's talk about.
Yes. So we're going to the grocery.
Yeah. What
do we got? And so what aisles are you going to go to and what are you going to buy?
So you're obviously not going to go down the middle aisles. There's nothing there for you. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You're going to stick to the outer wall mostly.
Yes.
Except for a few exceptions of canned goods, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Right.
So you're going to go to the produce if you're keto. Mm-hmm. You're going to get some dark green veg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some avocados maybe.
Some avocados, yeah.
But mostly you need to keep a lookout for meat sales.
Yes.
That's a big deal. And there are some. There even now during all this crap, I found a 10-pack of quarter pounders for $10 today. $1 a patty. Like that's fairly good.
Yep. And it's not as good as it used to be.
No.
But
it's still pretty good. And they're already pre-pattied. But then you can get the big tubes of ground beef that are like they look like sausage, but it's a tube of ground beef.
It's like a 10-pound tube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're usually cheaper. And then if you look in the steaks that are fixing to go bad, they're usually marked down a little bit. So you got to be smart about how you purchase things. Aldi is a great place. They have quality products. They have quality meat, not grass-fed, grain-finished. But is that okay?
It is. And that's what I was just about to say. While you're in the meat section, you're going to also check out the bologna or bologna, depending on where you're from. Bologna, right? You're going to check out even the Spam and the potted meat and the deviled ham and the canned meats. You're going to look at the label, and if there's less than 1 gram of carbohydrate per serving, that's fine. You can get that. Now, are those processed meats as healthy as grass-fed, grass-finished, panda massage meat? They're probably 1 to 5% less healthy, 1 to 5%, but they're going to be how much cheaper?
And that depends though on each individual too.
Yes, definitely. We missed a.
It's a sticker.
Oh, thanks, Paul Tails, for the sticker. Thank you very much.
There are some people who have autoimmune diseases that they're not going to be able to eat that kind of stuff.
That's right. Yeah, they're going to need the expensive meat. That's right. But if you're just doing this for fat loss or to make your osteoarthritis better, to improve your diabetes or blood pressure or fatty liver, you can eat the cheap bologna, the cheap hot dogs. You can eat the cheap cuts of meat as long as you watch the carbohydrate count in the meat.
If that's all you can do. We're in no way saying that bologna is optimum meat source. Right. Obviously, it is not. Yeah,
there's peckers and noses in that. We know that.
And there's some sugar and additives and all that stuff. Like we're not saying it's really, really good for you. But if you're somebody who can't afford anything, we're not going to say, you know what, go for the hamburger helper. Just
screw it. Just go eat the noodles.
Yeah.
No. Never is ramen noodles the right option unless literally you're starving to death and you've got, I don't know, what are they, 30 cents a pack?
They used to be 10. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, then the ramen noodles are better than starving. But if you've got $1, you can buy some kind of potted meat, devil ham, Spam. I don't care. That's going to be better for you than any of the grains, any of the processed crap that they're trying to sell you.
But you know what's better than that and just as cheap?
Tell me.
All the parts of the cow that nobody else wants. All the parts of the chicken and the pig that nobody else wants. Pig feet, chicken feet, organ meat, beef tongue, all that stuff. I bought a pound of chicken livers today for $1.79.
Yep.
$1.79.
Yeah. How many? What was it?
A pound.
A pound for $1. So a pound of multivitamin, multi-mineral superfood meat, which is what liver is, for $1.79. So if you literally had $2, you could go in there and buy a pound of chicken liver. That would keep you well fed for 2 days, and you're not going to develop overdose of vitamin A. I promise.
And you can batter them in my chicken nugget recipe that's on my YouTube channel. Deep from, I promise you, that or the pate recipe, at least give it a try because it's worth it. It's cheap and it's super nutritional.
100%. And Jolly Rogers this is a good question. He said, are store-bought pork rinds cooked in vegetable oils? Not all of them are, but some of them are. But what if you go to the store and your only option is pork rinds or meat skins cooked in canola or potato chips? That's a no-brainer. You're going to get the pork rinds or fast. You can always fast because that's the cheapest diet of all. But if you're truly hungry, get the pork rinds. They're not perfect. They've been cooked in canola or soybean oil, but they're still meat. They're still protein and fat. And yes, they were cooked in a less than healthy oil, but that's, what do you think the potato chips are cooked in? Yeah, canola oil. I guarantee you they got vegetable oils in them. Lynette's got a question. You want to do it?
Lynette says, at 1,800 calories, I gain weight and I'm doing carnivore. Are you sure we don't need to count calories?
Maybe, Lynette, you do need to count calories. But for most people, they eat fatty meat until they're full, then they stop. And that works very well for most people. But you may be special. You may need to count calories. So you count the calories, and I'm just going to eat until I'm full. Oh, Heather says, you guys are great. 8 quarantine pounds. Any suggestions? Do you like lots of meat and veg, or do you like just meat? Because keto or carnivore, that's...
Or ketovore.
Or ketovore, yeah. Eat lots and lots of meat with a little tiny bit of veg. That's what Nisha's doing. What else we got here?
Smoked sausage.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, do you think they're okay?
Yeah, smoked sausage is fine. Again, you're going to look at the ingredients.
Right.
And you're going to look at the carbohydrate, the total carbohydrate count. I don't think any of them try to lie and say there's fiber in sausage, but maybe, who knows? That wouldn't surprise me. But look at the carb count and look at the ingredients, and then pick the best one you can, and then enjoy your sausage.
Gizzards.
Yeah, chicken gizzards are 100%
Great.
keto and 100% carnivore, and they're also chewy and delicious.
Do you know what they had at Kroger today that I thought I put in my cart, but I didn't? You're going to be mad at me about it.
What?
Chicken hearts.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
You forgot to get me chicken hearts.
But they were also $2.49 for a pound of chicken hearts. And they are tasty.
Yes, chicken hearts are delicious, full of coenzyme
Sauteed
Q10.
in garlic and butter.
Yeah, so here's a good question. America says, what do you think of keto snacks and ice creams?
Well,
That's a great way to spend a lot of unnecessary money
exactly.
on keto.
Yeah.
Because those people are in business processing food. Even if they're processing good quality ingredients, they're still having to pay for the advertising, the cardboard box, the graphic design, whereas there's just hamburger laying over there in a styrofoam pack.
And a lot of times the ingredients aren't even that great. So like the Quest chips, I did a review on my channel of a bunch of keto products. And the Quest chips, they had bad products in them, and they were so expensive.
Yep.
Like $45 for a 10-pack or something crazy. And so if you're paying that much, you better put some good ingredients in there.
Yeah. You want me to blow your mind, America, and everybody else? Snacking is never necessary if you're eating the proper human diet, which is low carb, keto, carnivore. If you eat enough at your meal, you're not going to be hungry for a snack. And if you're hungry for a snack, that's either a habit, or as our good friend Dr. Robert Sidis says, that's an emotional event. You're eating out of sadness or anger or boredom or habit. Snacking is something that the big food corporations have tricked you into thinking you need to do. Oh, I need to have a snack. We need to take a snack. That's bull.
You're sitting in front of the TV and you
need a snack. Yeah.
Me and Kelly Hogan just talked about this on her YouTube channel, and she said that if she thinks she needs a snack, she goes to the refrigerator. If she doesn't want to eat a hamburger patty, then she is not that hungry.
Mm-hmm.
She closes the refrigerator and goes about her business.
That's perfect.
Great.
Yeah, and I just heard somebody else say that they use a boiled egg as their gauge.
Oh, that's good.
If you're not hungry enough to want that boiled egg, then you don't need a snack. And when another friend of ours, Weight Loss Hero on Instagram, Christine, she said that her test is skinless chicken breast. Are you hungry to eat a cold piece of plain skinless chicken breast? And if you're like, I don't want that, then you ain't hungry. You don't need a snack. Yeah. Stop thinking that snacks are mandatory or somehow that snacking is a good thing. They had that. You've been tricked. They're tricking you. You think, I've had snacks my entire life, therefore I must need keto snacks.
Yeah.
No, you don't need any snacks.
But that's not just limited to keto products too.
That's
Like
right.
a lot of people
That's right.
think that they can eat nuts and they eat just as many nuts, and before you know it, you've eaten a cup of nuts, and
Right.
that adds up and causes a lot of people health issues, and you to gain weight, and you're like, I'm eating nuts and they're keto, and here you are, you're either stalled or you've gained weight and you don't know what you're doing wrong. So.
Yep, exactly. Now, here's a good question. Oh, wait, how did I miss that? I just clicked. Where did it?
Tap it. It moves. It's better if you tap it.
Oh, with my finger.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll try to do that. Oh, let's see. Okay, here we go. Maui says, I've eaten keto carnivore for 3 months now. Current sugars in the 80s, down from 600. Dramatic change with your help. Thank you. Maui, thank
That's
you
awesome, Maui.
for sharing that. That's freaking amazing. Thanks for the super chat. And now, Maui, the way you're going to pay me back, truly pay me back, is to go and teach your family and teach your friends the amazing power of keto carnivore, the proper human diet. That's what I really want from you, Maui. But thanks for the super chat. Did we do that one?
I don't know. Click on it. No.
Garrett.
Can you read it?
My mother-in-law is a type 2 diabetic, and her doctors nuked her thyroid years ago with radiation, so now her thyroid medication is her thyroid in a sense. Is keto carnivore a great option for her? Yeah, Garrett, as a type 2 diabetic, she can completely reverse her type 2 diabetes with keto or carnivore, either one. And absolutely make sure that her thyroid is being managed properly. I've got a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel, and Nisha's got 1 or 2 on her YouTube channel about thyroid disease. You got to make sure that's being managed adequately. But with keto or carnivore, she won't be a type 2 diabetic next year if she picks one and sticks to it.
There it goes.
All right.
Aqua Girl. Can I take electrolyte powder and ACV pills and fasting drops all at the same time? Thank you.
I mean, if you want to, Aqua Girl,
if you
0013.
You feel good.
But there's really no reason to. Most electrolyte powders have magnesium, potassium, sodium, and chloride. And fasting drops are going to have that with probably a little higher level of sodium. So you're just doubling up on the same thing. I don't know what ACV pills have in them. I would say, why don't you get real apple cider vinegar with the mother and not take the pills? But typically, I've got some Topo Chico with some Redmonds Re-Lyte powders. What is it, lemon lime?
Mm-hmm.
And it's super tasty. It's better than any soft drink. And it's not sweet enough to break my fast, to raise my insulin. But I'm getting magnesium, potassium, sodium, and chloride with every sip. So it's very important to get your electrolytes.
You don't think so? It'll break the fast?
I don't think it's sweet enough.
I feel like it's sweet to me.
The berry one is pretty sweet to me. Maybe we'll have to do a double blind and see.
Joe Schmo has a question.
Joe Schmo. You think that's his real name?
I don't know, but that's funny.
Is pork less effective than beef on carnivore? So here's the thing about beef. Beef is a ruminant, which means they have a special magical stomach. Their stomach breaks stuff down way more effectively and completely than monogastric animals, which is what a pig is. So pigs and chickens only have one stomach, whereas cows, goats, sheep, deer, bison, antelope, all those things have a multi-chambered stomach. They'll eat stuff, they'll digest it partially, then they spit it back up, chew it again, and then they swallow it again. And they have all these magical bacteria that really break down the stuff. So you can feed them really anything, but any kind of toxins is not going to get to the meat nearly as readily as it will with a chicken or a pig. Now, am I anti-chicken or pig? No, I'm not. They are 1,000 times better than the Doritos. Eat chicken, eat pork. I think it's fine. I eat bacon all the time.
I eat chicken.
She eats chicken a lot. Yeah. I think that ruminants probably are the ideal meat for human beings to eat. All the ruminants, not just cows. But I don't think chicken and pork are bad. I just think they're a little less good than the ruminants. And when I say ruminants, a lot of people say beef only. But
lamb.
Yeah, lamb, sheep, goat, antelope, bison, all these things have multi-chamber stomachs. And they do magic in there, and they turn stuff into very high omega-3 fatty acid meat, whereas the chicken and pork are going to be a little bit higher in omega-6s, not to a dangerous level like canola oil, but they're going to have a little more. So I think they're less good, but still good.
Another way to save money, I was going to point out, we hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know not everybody has land, but a lot of people who do will let you hunt on their land. So just ask around if you're into that thing. But like getting our own meat, you can process it on your own too. We do use a processor, but that is a bargain. We get a full, how many doe do we usually get? Like four at least usually. Yeah. And that's a lot of meat, and it comes from our farm.
Yeah. Another trick is, even if you don't hunt, if you know a hunter, next time he's going out, you're going to say, hey, Pedro, because that's the hunter I know. What do you do with the liver and the heart when you harvest a buck or a doe? And he said, well, we just leave it for the coyotes. And I said, oh, no. From now on, you're going to bring me the liver and the heart. Any hunter will do that because they're going to gut the animal anyway, right? And it takes literally 10 seconds in a Ziploc bag, and they just brought you delicious heart full of coenzyme Q10 and hundreds of other things, and fresh liver, which is a literal multivitamin superfood.
Yeah.
And they'll give it to you for free.
And they might even, I mean, you can also buy, or some hunters that only trophy hunt, they'll give you the deer, the whole deer.
Yep.
But, oh, we got a sticker. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know. No, I don't think no. What's this one? Anthony says, I lost 52 pounds on keto. Last year, I lost my gallbladder. Now the high fat is troubling. What can I do? Yeah, sometimes when you lose your gallbladder, it's not as easy to digest as much fat as you could with a gallbladder. Most people, this gets better, Anthony, as months go by, because your hepatic ducts will actually dilate in your liver, and they'll take on a storage capacity so that you actually have a bunch of little tiny gallbladders effectively storing up the bile. But now if you continue after 3 to 6 months after your gallbladder surgery, if you're still having diarrhea after you eat too much fat, get an ox bile supplement. You can get it off Amazon. There are some people out there that sell really expensive ox bile supplements. I don't think they're any better, but the ox bile will help you break down the fat so you don't get diarrhea after you eat.
April wants to know, does eating mostly meat increase risk of colon cancer, especially if you have a family history?
Excellent question. If you listen to mainstream media, you totally think that eating red meat increases your risk of heart disease and increases your risk of colon cancer. I've got a video on my YouTube channel about this, April. You're watching from Facebook, but on my YouTube channel, just search Dr. Berry red meat cancer, and that video will pop up, and I've got all the research that they actually use to prove that it does that. The research that they used is atrocious. It's embarrassing. It doesn't prove anything. There's the tiniest relative risk associated with red meat. Probably 20,000 people would have to eat a pound of red meat a day for 10 years before one of them developed colon cancer. So the actual answer is, April, human beings have been eating red meat for at least 200,000 years on this planet. It doesn't now magically cause colon cancer. It is an ancestral food for us. We've always eaten it. It is good for you. Until they do some real research and actually prove that it's bad for you, I'm going to keep eating my red meat. This one? Okay. Pat D.
My endo and nutritionist tell me that carnivore diet is dangerous for type 1 diabetic because it can destroy my kidneys and I'll get a lot of kidney stones. Is this true?
Pat D, that's absolutely untrue. What's going to destroy your kidneys is the constant blood sugar highs and lows and the constant insulin highs and lows from injecting insulin to try to catch that high blood sugar. Excuse me. That's what actually destroys your kidney function, is high carbs, high insulin, high inflammation. Red meat is not bad for your kidneys. No meat is bad for your kidneys. If you just type into your search engine, meat bad for kidneys myth, just type that in after this live and read all the articles debunking this myth, but yet there's still doctors, 2 of your doctors are still saying this thing, even though it's been proven wrong 20 years ago. I knew that this was a myth, but still today there are doctors who think that eating meat is bad for your kidneys, and it's made up bunk. There's no truth to it at all. There's no research to back it up.
Starla says, I have had PCOS and have always had problems losing weight. Will keto carnivore help me or hurt me?
Oh my God, PCOS? Yeah, I was doing 3 things at once there for a second. Sorry. Yeah, so PCOS is a condition caused by, and I'm sure your doctor told you it's caused by estrogen, testosterone, but the root cause is chronically high insulin levels from eating too many carbohydrates and chronically high levels of inflammation from eating too much inflammatory food. Keto and carnivore are going to reduce your PCOS symptoms so much. We've had multiple friends of ours who say they have no PCOS symptoms anymore. Keto is quickly becoming a diet of legend that if you want to get knocked up, go keto, because it moves all your hormones in exactly the right direction for you to get pregnant. And I don't know if that's your goal or not, but a lot of women with PCOS have trouble getting pregnant. And keto or carnivore, either one is going to help you with PCOS, I promise. I think, do I have a video about that? I can't remember.
If you don't, you need one.
I know, right?
Ginger says keto carnivore is safe for dialysis or transplant recipients, also type 2 diabetic.
100% safe and necessary for type 2 diabetes if you want to reverse it. Now, if you just want to keep your type 2 diabetes and manage it for the rest of your life, don't do keto or carnivore, because they're going to reverse it and make it go away. If you're already on dialysis, that means that you have complete kidney failure, right? So there's no way that meat can hurt your kidneys because your kidneys are already shot. So no, there's no danger at all from eating. If you have any degree of chronic kidney disease, eating meat's not the problem. It's the carbs and the blood sugar spike and the inflammation and the insulin spike. That's what's going to hurt the remainder of your kidney function.
This is a good question. K-Bear, is buying in bulk and storing in food saver bags in the freezer okay? And what are your thoughts on turmeric?
Yeah, you take the first part.
Yes, buy in bulk, buy away. If you have a huge freezer, congratulations, because we cannot find one. We had 2 at the farmhouse, obviously, they're in heaven.
Yep.
And we cannot find another one. But if we did,
yeah, well, we're going to get another one day, I promise.
Well, yeah.
When I can find one. But now, food saver bags are made of plastic.
Right.
Why is it okay to put food in plastic in the freezer?
Because it takes heat to break down the molecule.
That's right. Plastic is a volatile substance. It's made out of oil. That's what plastic is made of. So if it's at room temperature or higher, you're going to be leaching toxic chemicals that are estrogenic or estrogen mimicking out of the plastic into your food. But if it's room temperature or colder, that actually slows all that down. And when you put it in the freezer, it stops that. Plastic in the freezer is fine. You can store stuff in Tupperware in the freezer and plastic bags in the freezer. That's 100% safe and fine. It's when you get above room temperature in plastic, that's not okay. And so K-Bear Fuzzy Ears, I love that name. When you take your food out of the freezer to thaw it out, take it out of the plastic bag and put it on a glass or a metal plate or container to let it thaw in. That way you never get to room temperature while still in the plastic. Never put your hot food into plastic to put in the freezer. Got to let the food cool to room temperature, then put it in the plastic.
Oh, crap. Oh, yeah, I did it. Okay.
You got it?
Roe says rabbit meat is super lean. I used
Yep.
to raise them for food.
Oh,
Funny, we used to eat a lot of rabbit.
I had a friend who lived in Big Sandy, Tennessee. Anybody know where that's at? He was a friend and a patient, and he raised rabbits. That was his hobby. And so he would harvest and clean and quarter and bag these rabbits, and we would eat them all the time. It's so delicious.
But they are lean.
They're very
so
lean. You have to add some fat. So you would cook your rabbit in bacon grease.
Or butter.
Or butter, that's right. And then you would add some butter, or you would have your rabbit with 3 pieces of bacon.
Right.
So you up your
Wrapped
fat.
in bacon.
Or wrap your rabbit in bacon. Oh my God, what a happy rabbit.
Well, happy tummy anyway.
Yes.
Oh
Get that
my
one. This
gosh.
one? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Bill says, is cod liver oil good? It depends on what you mean by good. So if you mean
Tasty
if you mean the flavor,
or good for you?
I don't mind the flavor. She abhors the flavor.
I'm not doing it.
Okay. Cod liver is excellent for your health, if that's your question. Yeah, it's full of all the fat soluble vitamins and tons of other stuff and omega-3 fatty acids. You can actually buy cod liver itself in small tins, just like sardines or anchovies would come in, which I personally love. I think the cod liver tastes better than the cod liver oil. Have you tried cod liver yet? You ain't got your nerve up yet.
No, it looks funny to me.
It does. Well, it's a fish liver.
I eat chicken liver. I feel like I'm doing okay. Why do I need to eat cod
It's a fish liver. So, yeah, it's going to look funny. Thanks so much for the stars and the super chats, guys. That means a lot. Thank you for that. What do you say there?
That's a good one. I think there might be some new people. So let's.
How long have you been keto?
Since almost 4 years. Because 2 years before I got pregnant, and that's why I started keto, because I couldn't get pregnant. still had to do IVF, but I also had Hashimoto's, and that's another reason.
Right.
So.
I've been keto, what, 6-ish?
You've been carnivore for
So 6-7 years I've been keto, and then a year and a half or a little more just fatty meat carnivore, which I freaking love.
Yeah. We were paleo before.
There it is. Okay. Now I got a question. Is dairy okay? You want to take that one?
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends.
If you're talking about skim milk or low fat, hell no, it ain't okay.
That's true. But then also some people can't even tolerate the keto dairy, so the heavy cream and the cream cheese and that kind of stuff, they can cause some people issues. But for most people, dairy is fine on keto. You just have to watch how much you're taking in because it can add up. Yeah.
For some people, the only dairy they can tolerate is butter or ghee, which is clarified butter. Other people can tolerate full-fat fermented cheeses like Swiss and cheddar, but it's got to be real cheese, full-fat cheese. And then other people, they can't even tolerate that. So that's something on keto you have to, and carnivore, you experiment with. Have no dairy for a month at all, except for butter and ghee, because I think everybody can tolerate the fat of dairy. It's the proteins and the lactose. That's the things people can't tolerate. But after a month of no dairy except butter and ghee, then add some cheese back in. See if you do you feel good? Is everything fine? If so, then you can tolerate cheese. If your weight loss is stalled,
that's what I was fixing to say.
If your weight loss is stalled, then a good trial is to try a month of no dairy except for butter and ghee. A lot of times dairy, the inflammatory, insulinogenic nature of some of the dairy proteins, some of the dairy amino acids, for some people seem to be much more important than for other people. I myself have to really limit the dairy or I'll start to gain a pound or two. Whereas you found that?
It's not my weight. It's more my aches and pains seem to be more when I eat heavy dairy on my dairy days.
Yep.
That's annoying because I really love cheese, but...
Me too. I freaking love cheese, but I know it has to be an occasional dessert for me or I'll start to gain weight. James says, I've been carnivore for 6 months, but keep gaining weight. I eat when hungry and stop when full, but I'm still overweight, no end in sight. So I wish I could ask James more questions. This is a very, very rare statement, James, that I see. Watch out for sauces, condiments, and rubs. A lot of times they can be chock full of sugar and not even taste sweet. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that is one thing I've seen in people. If you have very, very low testosterone or you have an undiagnosed low thyroid condition, then you can almost be a breatharian and not lose weight. That's somebody who just breathes. They don't eat anything.
Very witty.
That's actually a term.
I know.
It's a real thing.
I know.
It's a real thing. But I'm not going to try it. So, but those are, and so I would go to see your doctor, James, get a full panel of gender hormones, adrenal hormones, get all your liver, your thyroid, full panel of thyroid, and make sure there's not a medical problem. Because at this point, that goes up pretty high on my list because that's very uncommon for a carnivore.
It was A1 and A2. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, A1 and A2 milk.
Can you explain A2 and A1 raw milk?
So this A1 and A2 milk may be a big deal or may not be a big deal. Raw milk may be a big deal or may not be a big deal. There's not much research on this, and the research that's out there is kind of equivocal. So first of all, most cows in the U.S. and Canada give A2 milk, and that's a certain kind of casein, which is a protein in milk. So goats and sheep on average give A2 milk, and then some cows in other countries give A2 milk as well, which means it's got a different shape of casein in the milk protein. Some people feel like their personal experiences that they feel much better when they drink A2 or milk or eat A2 dairy. Mm-hmm. Other people can't tell any difference. Whether they eat A1 or A2, they can't tell any difference. I would love to have the opportunity to just try a month of A2, but we don't have enough sheep and goats around here to do that. And then the second thing was raw milk. Some people believe raw milk is magic, but here's what you got to understand. Even if it is raw, unprocessed, unpasteurized, unhomogenized milk that literally just came from the teat, it's still cow's milk. And it is intended to help a baby cow grow and gain weight as quickly as possible. And I never drink whole milk ever. Even though I grew up on it, I never drink it now. It makes me gain weight. That's what milk is for. Even raw A2 milk is meant to help young bovines gain weight as fast as quickly so they don't get eaten by a coyote. That's what milk is for. So my goal is not to gain as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible. So I don't drink milk.
I think that would happen if you drink breast milk from a human because it's the same thing.
If you drink A2 raw breast milk from a human, that's designed to make you gain weight as fast as possible. So I don't think that would be a good choice to drink. I think we're supposed to drink water, and maybe with some Re-Lyte powder, maybe not. But water is what human beings are meant to drink after we're weaned from the breast. Speaking of weaned from the breast.
He's not yet, though.
This guy is not. Come to me. Come to me.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
It's baby Becky.
Say hi.
Say hi.
Up here.
See this baby? Say hi,
Say hi.
baby. Nope.
Okay.
Not tonight.
Joe says, I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My doctor says he can't reverse my diabetes. Is this so? And if I do, can it come back?
Yeah. So, Joe, I'm glad your doctor said that, because what you're about to do, Joe, is you're about to either go keto or carnivore, and you're going to teach your doctor something. You're going to prove your doctor wrong, but I don't want you to be disrespectful or know-it-allish. I want you to be like, well, doc, I don't understand how. I mean, it's reversed. I don't have it anymore. My A1C is 5.6 now. Why does he do this? Only on camera. Teach your doctor, Joe. And so, yes, after you've been eating keto or carnivore and you reverse your type 2 diabetes, if you go back to eating the standard American crap diet, yeah, your diabetes will come back because it's still poison. That's not real food for human beings. That's food to make the big food companies billions of dollars. But if you keep eating keto or carnivore, which is the proper human diet, then your diabetes will never come back. And please, Joe, teach your doctor, teach your family, and teach your friends after you've made this happen. Yeah, he is a pretty good-looking guy, isn't he, Corliss? I agree.
That's a good question.
Which?
Betsy, if cow's milk is so bad,
that's a good
why is heavy whipping cream so celebrated?
It's a very valid question. So let's break it down. What is milk made of? It's made of 3 macronutrients. It's made of protein, it's made of fat, and it's made of carbohydrates, the milk sugar, the lactose, right? So when you're drinking skim milk, all you're getting is the protein and the carbohydrate. When you're drinking whole milk, now you're getting all 3, but the fat is still only about 4%, which is not much at all. When you make something half and half, so you take out some of the sugar and some of the carbs, that's half and half, right? So that's about 20%, 15 to 20%, depending on what country you're in, milk fat. So there's less lactose and there's less of the inflammatory protein. When you make heavy cream, that's somewhere between 35 and 40% fat. So you see, as you move up that spectrum, there's more fat, and the milk fat is not the problem. The problem is the lactose, which is sugar, and for many people, the inflammatory dairy protein. The fat's not the problem, and that's why I said earlier, you can eat all the butter and ghee you want. No matter what autoimmune condition you have, it's not going to flare you up because that's just the pure fat out of the milk. So the worst part of dairy of all is skim milk or fat-free. Skim milk is breast milk from the devil. The best dairy you can possibly eat is ghee, which is clarified butter, then heavy cream, then half and half, then whole milk, and see how we're getting back over to the crappy end of the dairy spectrum. So that's why some people, Betsy, can't use heavy whipping cream because it stalls their weight loss. That little bit of protein that's left in there and that little bit of carbohydrate is still too much for their personal physiology and biochemistry. Other people on keto can put a little bit of coffee in their heavy cream and they'll keep losing weight and keep doing better. So that's why for some people heavy cream on keto is a yes, some people it's a no. Excellent question. What did I see? I thought I saw. Well, I don't know where it went. Let's see. Now, this is a good question from Patricia. I'm in ketosis, but I'm not losing any weight. Ideas. So, Patricia, I want you to think back. How many years have you been overweight? And how many years did you eat a crappy diet full of highly processed carbohydrates, vegetable oils, sugar, grains, all that crap? probably decades, right? So now you've been on keto for a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months, and nothing's happened yet. You guys got to understand, the longer you've eaten a crap diet and the longer you've been metabolically unwell, the longer it's going to take you to heal. Some people can go on keto and lose 20 pounds the first month. Other people go on keto and they lose 1 pound the first month. That doesn't mean keto is not working for you, Patricia. You're gleaning hundreds of health benefits from your keto way of eating if it's a real whole 1 ingredient keto diet. The scale may not be losing, and I've got a YouTube video called 13 Reasons Why You Might Stall on a Keto Diet. You can go watch that and learn about all the reasons. But the most common reason is that you're just not metabolically well enough yet. Your insulin level hasn't come down enough yet. Your levels of inflammation haven't come down enough yet that it's time for you to lose fat. Why are you being a turd?
He's in a mood today.
You're being a little
I
turd.
think we've got another 2 coming in.
Hey, what about this? You want to play with some of Mama's makeup? This looks really expensive. You want to play with that?
It's not actually.
No.
Very
You want
cheap.
to play with that? No. So you got to make him want it. Then he's like,
Oh,
yes,
that's a
okay.
good question. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Andrea says, what grease do you save other than bacon grease, and do you store it in the same container?
Yeah.
Good question.
We used to store it in the same container, but we're not doing that anymore.
Because Nisha doesn't like it.
Yeah, Nisha loves bacon grease, and so do I. I also really like beef tallow, but she doesn't love it that much. And so we've bought 2 stainless steel containers that sit on our stove. And when we cook only bacon, we pour it off into the bacon grease container. And if I mistakenly pour my beef tallow in the bacon grease container, I get in trouble because she can tell 100%.
I can smell it.
She can smell it and taste it and doesn't like it. And so we've got one just for beef tallow. So if I fry 2 pounds of ground beef, I pour that into the beef tallow one. If we cook bacon, then we put it in the other one.
Oh, you done talking?
So beef tallow and bacon grease. That's what we say. And now you can save chicken fat, which people call schmaltz.
What's suet?
Suet. Some people I think call chicken fat. I think it's like solid chicken fat.
Oh, okay.
Some people save. I mean, you can save fat from any animal.
And you can buy it, obviously, too. Duck fat's really good. Sometimes I get the duck fat from Epic because it makes some dishes just have a little something extra. Duck fat is delicious.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's mostly bacon grease and beef tallow.
Yeah, here's a good question, Tom. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Tom says, what about Mediterranean diet combo with keto? So, Tom, first of all, you have to understand the term Mediterranean diet has been completely hijacked. They're trying to make it mean lots of whole grains and lots of fruit and low fat. And every time we've been to Italy or Greece or talked to any of our friends who are from there, they're like, we put butter on our butter and we eat meat all the time. My interpretation of Mediterranean keto would be a seafood heavy keto.
Seafood heavy and cured meat heavy, and they do eat olive oil a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the Mediterranean diet that you hear people talk about on CNN and Fox News, that ain't even a real Mediterranean diet. And if you have a friend who grew up in France or Italy or Greece, they'll tell you that I don't know what they're talking about. Nobody cooked like they're telling you to cook with canola oil, soybean. Nobody used that. We use butter and we use bacon grease.
No, we don't refrigerate the bacon grease or the beef tallow. And we keep it. We use so much of it, it doesn't sit out long enough to go bad. So within 3 months, we're just.
So think about it. Also, so I just fried up some bacon and I've got the grease. That grease is probably 250 degrees, right? And when I pour it in with the other grease, it's gonna, if there's any bacteria, which I don't think there ever is, it kills them. But then also we're using it so quick, it never goes bad. And if you want to put it in the fridge, you totally can. But I don't think there's a reason to. My great grandmother kept it on the stove. My grandmother still keeps it on the stove, and we keep it on the stove, and ain't none of us died.
Well.
Yeah, seafood Korean is 100% fine. If you'd rather have seafood than red meat, I think that's totally fine. Just make sure you're eating lots of cold water fatty fish, like wild caught West Coast salmon, like anchovy, sardines, cod. Those are really good keto options. Did you find one?
No, I was
okay.
looking, but then
Okay.
he jumped me.
Sherry. Will coconut oil inflame diverticulitis? I doubt it, but it's possible. There are some people on keto and carnivore, especially carnivores, who avoid even coconut oil, avocado oil, and olive oil because it seems to be inflammatory to them. Those are plants, they're oils, and they're fruit seed oils. They're not vegetable seed oils. But for some people, even they seem to be inflammatory. I feel like I do better when I avoid coconut oil, avocado, and olive oil. Even though I like the taste of them, I feel better when I use just bacon grease and beef tallow. Do you feel that way?
Majority of the time, I do use olive oil if I am having like Capri salad with some basil and tomato and mozzarella. That kind of like special thing. Like
for that, just that bite.
Yeah. But my grandmother used to make salad, and she put bacon grease
100%.
in her
My grandmother
salads.
did too. Yeah, and they called it wilting the salad.
Uh-huh.
And she put it on hot. Yeah, and so you'd make your salad, then you would pour hot bacon grease over the salad. My grandmother would do that. Yeah, and I thought it was the grossest thing.
It was delicious though.
But I would never touch it because it was bacon grease and salad. In my head, that didn't compute.
It's actually really good.
I wish
She
I'd
also
tried
put
it out.
sugar in it, okay, but
Shari got some beef tallow, 100%. That's good. Yep. And Tasha stores her bacon grease in mason jars. And if you pour really hot grease in a mason jar, I guess it's okay. Mason jars.
fine. Then you can in
That's
them.
true. You can. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah, you're right. No, that's a great idea.
Just don't put it in plastic.
Tim Smith. Does red meat aggravate osteoarthritis? Okay, Tim Smith. When I was 35, I had knee arthritis that hurt me every day. And I was eating lots of whole grains, lots of fruits and vegetables, fruit smoothies. Now that I eat only meat, Tim, my knee never hurts me. Yesterday, I was deadlifting 300 pounds out in the barn. No knee pain. Okay, I can run upstairs, take 2 stairs at a time, no knee pain at 51 years old. When I was 35, I had knee arthritis, eating the whole grains and the fruits that they tell you. So, Tim, I think that meat is very anti-inflammatory, very uninflammatory versus grains and sugars and seed oils. Did you get it? Did it go? No, it didn't go. Which one was it? Stop. Oh, wow. Somebody's watching from Portugal. Welcome, Portugal.
Somebody said, my baby's 2 months without seizures because of keto.
Where do you see that?
Well, you tell them now.
Oh, okay.
Beckett!
Good question. One of my favorite questions. Beth says on carnivore, drink how much water? So whether you're on low carb keto, carnivore, ketovore, or Mediterranean keto, you drink water when you're thirsty. And this, I'm going to blow your mind again. We've all been taught, you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day, or you need to drink 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight, or you'll never lose weight, you'll never blah, blah, blah. All that is horse crap. There is no research that shows that's true. It's horse crap, okay? If you're thirsty, drink water. There is nothing magical about drinking water when you're not thirsty. It makes no sense. If you think about it, no. I mean, I'm breathing about 16 times a minute now. What if I decided, I think it'd be healthier if I breathe 40 times a minute? Does that make any sense? No, it's dumb. You breathe how much you need to breathe. Your thirst mechanism is going to tell you when you're thirsty. And I know there's gurus out there that says, you don't know you're thirsty, but you're really dehydrated. No, that's just dumb. There's no research that supports that. If you're thirsty, drink. If you're not thirsty, don't drink. Now, you notice I've got a glass sitting right here, and I've took 1 sip this whole life. I'm not thirsty. But if I got thirsty, I would take a drink. That's what you're supposed to do. There is no amount of water you should drink each day. Your body's going to damn well tell you if you're not getting enough water. It'll let you know. What else you see?
That was a good one. Where'd it go? Oh, for goodness sake. It was about dementia.
Could you do a video about keto carnivore for dementia? Yeah, I think I've got 1 or 2.
Do you?
I think I've got at least 1 on this channel. But getting stuff done, I like it. That's good. I see what you did. There's a book by Amy Berger called the Alzheimer's Antidote. And if you've got a family member with Alzheimer's or dementia, I would get Amy Berger, and it's spelled Berger, and it's called the Alzheimer's Antidote. And it really applies to all dementias, not just Alzheimer's, in my opinion. It's a great book, and it'll explain to you the science behind why keto or carnivore is the perfect diet to not only prevent dementia, but also if you've got an older family member who has dementia, it's going to help them stay with you and stay with you for longer.
Let's do one more question.
Yep.
Why do veggies make my joints hurt?
Now Sandy's on to something. This is why a lot of people who were formerly keto are now carnivore, is because they realized that certain veggies had certain things in them that caused inflammation. Some people in inflammation in their gut, some people in their skin, like rosacea or psoriasis, some people in their joints. Our friend Michaela Peterson, if she eats any vegetables, she has severe juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And as long as she eats only meat, drinks water, and uses salt, maybe a little spice, I can't remember.
I don't think she can have spice.
I think salt and meat, that's what she lives on. She has no joint pain.
And she's had how many hip
She's
replacements?
had a hip replacement and an ankle
replacement.
joint replacement because of her RA. But when she's eating just meat, she has no joint pain. But if she strays and eats even some kale or some broccoli or some spinach, immediate the next day she's got joint pain. So this is an experiment you get to do as a keto carnivore, is if you're doing keto and you know you're doing it right, you're not buying a bunch of keto cookies, cakes, candies, and pies, but you're still having joint pain, then you need to try a month of just fatty meat carnivore and see what that does. And you might be blown away that like Sandy was, that, hey, when I don't eat vegetables, when I don't eat any plants, my joints don't hurt. And yes, you can get a nutritionally complete diet from eating just animal products.
But don't you need fiber?
No. There are.
Do you have a video about poop?
I do. It's called What the Carnivore Diet Did to My Poop. And if you want TMI, then watch that video right after we get done here. Yeah.
All right. So closing up here, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, liking the Facebook pages, both his and mine. I do what I eat in a day vlogs, but guess who else is in those videos? Dr. Barry. So if you want to know exactly what he eats, it's in those videos. Yep. It's steak. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and liver.
And liver.
And eggs.
It's
and
meat.
some mustard. That's it. My only vegetable is mustard. That's my vegetable.
Yeah. And then Dr. Barry put out a new video today, and it's about what?
Man boobs. Do you know somebody who has man boobs? Share my YouTube video with them. They might get a little mad when you share it, but I promise one day in the future, they will thank you for sharing with them my man boob video.
Maybe make a fake email and send it.
Or, maybe send it anonymously. But, I mean, if they got man boobs, not only do they have man boobs, but it's also very metabolically unhealthy to have the condition that leads to man boobs.
Did you have man boobs?
I did. I actually talk about it in the video. I don't show a picture of my boobs, but there are pictures of other people's boobs in the video. But only men. Only men boobs.
Right, let's clarify.
Only men boobs. Moobs.
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 Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for the stars on Facebook. Thanks so much for the super chats and super stickers and all the other super stuff on YouTube. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m., we're going to be live, just like this, in our private Facebook group. Now, if you didn't get enough of us tonight, you can join us tomorrow night, become a Facebook supporter, or become a patron on patreon.com, and you can join us on every Tuesday night too, instead of just Monday. But if you had enough, I'll just see you next week.
Also, one more time, last day to get your PhD Virtual Summit tickets, PhDVirtualSummit.com, is September 1st. $37. It gets you access to the live event, which is on September 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then you get to watch it as many times as you want, over and over and over again for a year.
For how much?
For $37.
Dang, that's cheap.
So you get a year of unlimited access plus the live event, obviously. All details on PhDVirtualSummit.com. Link in the description above and show notes below. Anything else?
That's it. Thanks so much for joining us. You're our keto carnivore family. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.